soul by the hand to take that soul into the light and take that soul where they are supposed to be now and stay with them until they're comfortable. And that would be a blessing for an earthbound spirit. Rather than a lot of people do an exorcist, which is just ask them to leave. But, they really can't. They need help to leave. This is like a homeless. You can't say, get off of the street here. Well, they need help where to go, don't they?
Yes.
And they need to be fed. They need to be taken by the hand many times and taken to where they can be comfortable. And it's the same with these earthbound spirits. So in clearing, people call me from all over the United States to clear their homes and to clear the land of all these influences. And when in an area where there are no earthbound spirits, all of a sudden it just feels so calm and peaceful.
I remember my first time in Santa Fe, New Mexico in 1994, and I loved New Mexico. I enjoyed being there a lot. But I remember there were certain places that I would go in there where I felt angry spirits. I don't know where exactly I was. Visually things looked great, but the air, there was something that really disturbed me that was in the air back then. And, I don't know if you do land clearing out there or, you said you do it all over the United States, but there are some places in the United States where you're outdoors, you're outside. You think, oh, it's just, the issues are people's issues in their home or in a hotel or in an atmosphere like a restaurant. But the issue of the land is a big deal.
Yes, it really is.
So, when you say you do land clearing, can you clarify that a little bit more?
Well, land clearing, let's, first of all, again, let's get back to the feng shui aspects. You see, there's energy. There might be toxic energy from the land that's coming from the earth itself. And then there might be a collection of earthbound spirits. And there might be a place where they have ceremonies that are violent. Or let's say that are not harmonious. So all those kinds of things can affect and influence the air. And so when you clear the land from all of those aspects.
I would imagine.
And sometimes it takes a long time. Sometimes it takes, several weeks, several months. I've worked on places like we have this. This was a physical kind of thing that we weren't doing feng shui so much, but we were clearing. We were physically cleaning the Penn Treaty Park in Philadelphia, where the Penn Treaty was signed, and so this was a pretty big space. It's a sacred space, really, for the United States of America. It was one of our beginning sacred spaces. Now, when we went to this back in maybe the early 1980s, the early 1980s, we started cleaning this space up. And so we would sometimes physically clean up the garbage and things like that. I mean, really physically do some cleaning. And then we had ceremonies there. We had Native people had powwows there. Some Native people planted trees there and had ceremonies for that. And so the place slowly became a cleaned space. And I worked on clearing it and cleaning it in my way. And so in time, now it's a national park. And they completely they cleaned it all up, and they have new sidewalks, and they have new trees, and they took an elm tree. The Penn Treaty was actually was signed under an elm tree, and botanists had taken part of that tree and saved it over the years. So they had a tree that they could plant that was from that tree. And so that was the elm tree. And the elm tree, sometimes we had ceremonies down. At least once a year we would have some kind of ceremony. We'd go see that tree. And sometimes the tree didn't look well. And so we would ask people to pray for the tree and be sure the tree had water. And some people would do that. They would visit the tree and water it. And this is sort of part of the fabric, really, of the United States of America.
We have I just want to stop you for just a moment. We have a live call-in line, Melinda, and I want to invite the people that are listening, if you have any questions for Melinda Joy Miller, this is the time to call. We're going to run the show a little bit late tonight. We have a few minutes left, but we're going to let the show go a little bit longer than we normally do. If any of you would like to talk to Melinda, you can call us at 1-877-625-3724, and I'll repeat that again. 1-877-625-3724, and I'll repeat it one more time. 1-877-625-3724. And Melinda, while we're waiting, if anybody would like to call and ask you some questions, I'd like to let you all know for a couple of minutes that I've had the privilege with Bruce Barker of Right After This Productions of producing and bringing you 12 segments of its Rainmaking time through a network in Colorado for the first 6 weeks, and the next 6 weeks online, bringing you the content that we have. And I love doing it. I love finding work that is important, that would help and better your lives. I love bringing you solutions and discoveries that for some reason are not getting to you through private broadcasting, commercial broadcasting, and public broadcasting. And I want you to know that everything in the realm of broadcasting has to be paid for. There are production expenses, there's marketing expenses, there's distribution expenses, there's engineering and webmaster expenses, telephone. There's a whole business to bringing you an hour a week of broadcasting. And basically, I've been funding it. There have been some sponsors and advertisers when we were on a network in Colorado, but for the most part, I found the public reluctant to sponsor and advertise any of the segments that are being brought to you through the World Wide Web. And part of that has to do with the key question that is germane to traditional advertising, which is, what's your distribution, what's your demographic, what's your sociographic? The truth is that because this is a new concern, not just a new show, but it's in a medium where, yes, there's millions of people all over the world who are on the web, billions maybe on the web. But the reality is, who's here? Who's coming to www.itsrainmakingtime.com? Now, I've given this 6 weeks of single focus, all of my time, to enhance the distribution, including sending 10,000 emails out, contacting hundreds of people every day, having those people contact hundreds of people every day, and we get the statistics. The reality is that to go through this, to bring you this type of material, which is very critical that you hear, it's going to require either a shift in the thinking and the mentality of getting behind a show and a broadcast like this at the level of the public consciousness, and or you have to start tuning into its Rainmaking Time on a satellite network or on a network that we will let you know that we will be on. But I will tell you that so far, every major public broadcasting station that I've contended with in the last 6 months of my life has not been interested in what we're bringing you. And those that are interested basically just are trying to take the entire show and rob those of us who are producing it, bringing it to you, of our total legal rights to it, which I won't sign on for. So on a commercial level, the commercial stations that are out there, And it's not that there aren't good ones, they're out there. However,